guys, welcome back to another dating episode. I'm sorry that I have been MIA for a while. I apologize for the lack of activities because the business that Pablo and we run together has been really crazy busy in the past month. So we haven't got a chance to do more videos. But now we are back. In today's video, I want to talk about some signs you might see on dating apps when a guy is not that into you. Well, lately, I've been getting some questions when a guy is not so interested in you. If you're a newbie or if you're not that experienced on dating apps, you might not get it. And then you end up wondering, oh, why this guy is not responding? And I want to have Pablo answer this question for me so we can kind of see from a guy's perspective. But of course, Pablo cannot represent all the guys, but at least we can use it as a reference. So in the first part of the video, Pablo will answer the 4 questions that I picked for him. And in the second part of the video, I want to share 4 signs that he is just not that into you. If you're struggling understanding the guy that you're dating now, you don't know, if you should stick around for a little bit longer or if you should just move on. Maybe this video will give you some ideas. All you need to do is just keep on watching. So question number 1, this girl asked, we've been chatting for a month now and he asked if I would like to meet. I say yes to him. But after that, he didn't text me back or arrange anything. It's been over a week. Should I check on him? I'm not sure what happened.
Let me get my little whiteboard here. Let me change my answer. He's not that into you. So when it comes to online dating, people are shopping around, right? They're always trying to see what all their options are. If things don't move along at somebody's particular pace, then they might just be like, oh, you know what, let me see if somebody else is more willing to meet up or somebody else is capturing my attention more. They're swiping left on most people, but they swipe right on, maybe 5, 6, or 7 girls, and maybe they hope that at least one of them comes back, maybe 2 or 3 come back, and then he had already started talking to one, but then another one matches with him.
And then he's more interested in that girl. That's why he dropped this girl.
Maybe he was hoping that was the one that matched with him. Now she's responded, and maybe he's like, oh, now I have another option. In this online dating world, I think a lot of people escape like social responsibilities or social grace or social courtesy.
That's the part I hate.
Yeah, because people, they can just ghost you and not suffer any of the consequences, which is a really, bad part of online dating.
Very bad.
I think that shouldn't discourage people. You just kind of got to read the signs and just face the harsh reality. And if that's the case, somebody's just ghosting you, then they're not kind of the higher quality people that you would want to associate with anyway. Yep. In a relationship, somebody you hope that will communicate with you and let them know what they're feeling. A lot of times the hardest things to communicate are the ones that might be hurtful, or you might think you're going to hurt somebody's feelings. I think this is a quick and easy way to filter people out that you don't need in your life. So if they're going to ghost you or not like give you the courtesy of like, hey, I think, I'm not looking for this or whatever, like,
yes,
it's all, there's no easy way to say these things. So you should really appreciate somebody that steps out and just respects your time, and lets you know. If you get into a relationship with somebody that doesn't want to communicate hard things to you, then things will just start going kind of downhill when there are problems.
Agreed.
Yeah. The other really quick thing I want to mention, I think we mentioned before, is it's the pandemic. So people are getting really, really impatient about wanting to meet somebody in person and just like really connect with somebody. If you're taking some time or you're debating whether or not to meet with a guy, and the guy's already like made up his mind, like, I'm single and I really want to meet somebody that would rather meet, then maybe he found somebody else that would rather meet. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. The level of risk is up to you right now. I think it's just going to be kind of like a really sucky year for a lot of people in terms of like online dating or just dating in general. So I still say value your safety over your desire to want to meet somebody new.
Yes. Okay, so question number 2. I haven't heard back from the guy after our first date. Should I ask my date what's his impression of me after the first date? Very interested in the person, but you didn't hear anything. Say a week passed, 2 weeks passed. I think that's a very obvious sign that he's just not that into you. That's my answer.
Yeah, because I feel like even like the more shy guys or the guys who don't really like have more experience, if they really like a girl, they're gonna be like excited enough to want to do something. It's kind of like human nature. It's like even the shyest guys can't help their male nature. If they found a girl out there that they're like, oh, I'm so shy, but I'm just so into her, so I'm gonna have to do something about it. Sometimes people don't know how they feel, but maybe you have it like in that gray area where people have a chance to kind of like create a spark if you just try a little bit harder. If you are more interested in the guy and you show a little bit of interest, maybe he becomes interested. Or if the guy is really interested and he's trying to convince the girl, just that little bit of extra effort, like it has to be like the right amount to not drive somebody away, and then also kind of like show interest.
So question number 3, we've been chatting for a while. The flow of the conversation has been great. He asked me out a couple of times, but I told him that I don't feel safe and ready to meet someone yet during the pandemic. And then one day he just disappeared on me. Now it's been a week. Should I text and check on him? There's this girl, she has dated, or she's been chatting to different guys, but you know, like one after another, they all faded out because she just wasn't ready yet. And then she kind of get very discouraged and upset, thinking that, oh, is that my problem? Like, am I too like cautious? Am I like too much?
For this question, I would say not that into you, because if I'm sitting in my bed as a guy and talking to a girl and it's been going great, chatting on the phone or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna meet up, but then I feel like the girl is kind of hesitant to meet up, and maybe I'm talking to somebody else, or maybe I'm not. Let's say I'm not talking to somebody else. I'll be like, she doesn't want to meet up, I'm getting impatient, I really want to see somebody, I'm a single guy all by myself here in the pandemic. Let me see if another girl, let me keep swiping right and see if there's another girl who wants to meet up. So he just wants to get out there and find that girl that wants to meet up. And if you value your safety over that, then A, value that, and B, if there's a guy out there that you really think is worth it, then you should respect that. I feel like if there was a girl that I saw from a profile and I was really interested in her and chatting with her, I feel like, oh, she's, you know, she seems like a cool one, I would wait around, you know?
But how long would you wait?
Because the pandemic is still raging out there, so like it's gonna be a long time. Like, you know, I would try to find a way to like meet up safely, as like you want to keep the momentum going. So I'd be like, let's meet up at the park, you know, sit down in a place where we can like keep 10 feet apart and have the mask on and, you know, just meet up and talk. Or if that's not what I'm doing, then maybe I'm just a little bit more selfish and looking for a good time, and that's all I'm looking for. Then I'm not looking for a commitment. So if you're looking for a guy who wants to commit or who's serious about stuff, he's gonna make it work, and he's gonna be into you enough to kind of keep the momentum going.
Question number 4. We met on the Coffee Meets Bagel app, and we chatted a lot on the first date, but after that, he will answer my question and then ask me another question. After I answer his question, the conversation just stopped like a dead end. I'm not sure if he's not that interested or he is just too shy. I'm still very interested in him, so should I keep the conversation going or should I stop so I don't look like a thirsty girl?
Thirsty. But she said like he's asked a question and then she answers and then that's it. So so he tries once, but then he doesn't keep trying. Question mark. It's
a question mark.
He could be a shy guy or not experienced enough to know how to keep the conversation going.
Okay.
He could be into you, he just doesn't, you know how to continue to express himself, or maybe he's just not that into conversation, but he likes you.
Would you encourage her to stick around a little bit longer and then maybe initiate a little bit more and see how she feels? If every time is a dead end to a point that you might just want to give up.
If you like this kind of guy who's like, seems like he's like a dead end, but
he's still trying.
Yeah, still kind of like half trying. First of all, you're gonna have to ask yourself if you're okay with this dynamic. You know, are you the kind of girl that is willing to put out more out there because the guy is interesting enough for you that you kind of want to bring him out a little bit? Then maybe you can suggest some kind of activity where you guys kind of build more experiences together, and maybe he becomes more comfortable talking about things. Or as you suggest more things or are the one leading the conversation and you realize that things are not really going anywhere, is that the kind of guy you want to be with? You just got to feel it out a little bit longer.
So after the 4 questions, I'm sure at this moment you have a better idea about when a guy is not that interested. I think guys are very simple actually. So if they are into you, they're interested in you, no matter what, they will let you feel how they feel about you.
No, because I asked you about like, give me examples from your social circle about stories of people who are happily together. Tell me how the dynamic went, and your answer was like, it's that easy. They just had a great dynamic and now they're happily together. I was like, no, give me like the story. Like, how did the guy show that he's interested? The answer is he showed he was interested.
It's that simple.
And that's all the relationships that are like going and happening, right? They just, the guy showed his interest, and
the end of the story.
That's the end.
The next part, I want to share the 4 signs you can pay attention to that when a guy is not that into you. You don't need to second guess or waste your time. So number 1. He ghosts you or disappears on you without any notice or just out of nowhere. He didn't say anything, just disappear. That's sign number 1. Don't even think too hard about it. Just move on, girl. So sign number 2, he is not communicating. So if he's not initiating conversations, he's not even trying to engage, he keeps you hanging, wondering what's going on, how he feels, or what he's up to, chances are...
Be a man, do the right thing.
And sign number 3, inconsistent. If a guy is very, engaging in the first couple of weeks or the first month or 2, and then later suddenly he slows down replying or he's not engaging anymore, this kind of inconsistency is another sign that he is just not that into you, or he's just weird.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with these kind of people, because then that's going to be your relationship. It's going to be up and down too.
That's right. And my sign number 4, he still updates his profile here and there, or update his profile pictures after dating you for a while. So if this guy, I know a lot of girls, they just can't help. I used to be like that. I can't help to check on the guy's profile. If you see their photos, like, oh, they updated their photos, and then I think within the first month it's still acceptable, because people are still like, looking and then feeling each other out. But if you feel like, oh, we've been dating for 2 months, almost 3 months, and I still see him updating his profile, I think that's a big sign that he's just not that into you. He's either not ready to settle, not ready to commit, or he's just a player. He wanna keep shopping.
So for me, number 1, if people have been single for a while, just kind of gotta respect their space, give them some time to put the brakes on it. Going from a single lifestyle to a committed lifestyle, you gotta kind of like, it's a total like culture shock, mind change. So
okay.
In the first month, I guess, give each other some room to figure it out. But if it's like ongoing past, well into a relationship where like you guys have been maybe physical, or maybe you guys have been hanging out enough, if you're looking for commitment, there's got to be a point where you're okay with that, or you're not okay with that, and the communication is clear about where you guys stand. But the good relationships that I've seen, most of them, pretty much all of them, the guy has made a clear commitment to his partner that that's what they're looking for. Other than that, either the communication is clear about what both of you are looking for, and if the guy is still looking around, that means he's still gonna be looking around. And
at least now you know the signs that you should pay attention to, that he's just not that into you, and so you don't waste time and you can keep going. Thank you, Pablo, for answering these questions and help us understand how guys are thinking. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment. We will see you in our next one. Bye.
Back to hunting.